Hello everyone, Carson here, and welcome back to my channel. Now in today's video, I wanted to tell you how to choose the best WordPress hosting in 2021. When you are looking to pick a new WordPress host, or when you are going for your first WordPress host, you need to know how to choose it and how to pick it. You need to know the benefits and things you need to avoid, and I'm going to cover that in this video, as well as give you some of the hosts I do suggest. So when you do initially start looking for a WordPress host, it's obviously going to have a large market of options to choose from. However, there's an easy way to determine some of the good ones and some of the bad ones. A notable way is to look at the prices, because some hosts will have extremely high prices and some will just masquerade as having low prices, but actually upsell you on a bunch of things. Both of these things are very common, and you want to try and avoid them at all costs. WordPress hosting ultimately is not very expensive, at least for the most basic plans. And if any host is going excessively above that, or isn't going above that but then upsells you a bunch to the point where they are going above that, that's just not good for you. Another thing to notice is always look at the reviews. If you're going to be going for a hosting company, it doesn't hurt to look at the reviews, and as a matter of fact, it can actually be extremely beneficial, because you're going to be able to understand exactly what the customers think of the platform itself. If the customers show positive support, or if there are any notable customers supporting it, then that can be beneficial. Yet another thing to look at is if the company has had any notable security breaches recently. You do not want a company which is known for having security breaches. And of course, leading on from that, you also of course want to look at probably their average uptime and their average latency, because those two things are going to be very important for both SEO and customer retention. So if your website doesn't have great uptime, doesn't have great latency, your customers won't stay on it as long because they'll lose attention easier, and the search engine behaves very similar to the customer as well, in the fact that if your website is not up all the time, or if it's down a large majority of the time, the search engine will actually avoid it as well. Now, if you are looking for a very good WordPress host for 2021, I actually will recommend some suggestions, because I have expertly reviewed tons and tons of WordPress hosting companies and just hosting companies in general. So I'm actually going to drop 3 suggestions right now and go ahead and tell you why you should use them. Number 1 is easily going to be Scalahosting. Scalahosting is actually a primarily VPS or virtual private server hosting platform. However, this doesn't mean that they don't have an obscene amount of features, because that is actually what they specialize in. They come in at slightly under $10 a month for their initial plan, which is actually extremely reasonable for VPS hosting, which is usually more expensive than shared hosting. And if you do go with Scalahosting's $10 a month plan, you get an incredible amount of features. For example, you get free website migration for all of your websites, which in my opinion is a big benefit. You also get a fully managed website hosting plan, which is great, and you get a lot of automations as well, including automated backups and a security system with around 99.98% effectiveness, which is obscenely good for that price. Essentially, what Scalahosting aims to do is provide you with the most features you could possibly get for the price they provide it at, which in my opinion is extremely beneficial if you are able to buy that type of plan. You can host as many websites as you need, and all of those features together add up to way more if you buy them from third parties. They cost a lot normally, but you're getting them at that extremely cheap price Scalahosting offers. Now, the next host I want to talk about is called Bluehost. Bluehost is known as one of the best website hosting companies on the market. They provide shared hosting at a very reasonable price, as well as VPS, dedicated, and a plethora of other hosting types. Bluehost is very renowned for being a good hosting company, and they're known for their very good support and uptime as well. So you should definitely check out Bluehost Bluehost if you are looking for that. Now, if you are looking for just budget without any regard of the actual features, if you are just looking for the cheapest hosting you can possibly get, there is one host that is known to be extremely cheap, yet also have good features, and that host is Hostinger. It's worth a mention that Hostinger's plans are crazily cheap, starting at under $1 a month. That is for shared hosting though, so you will be, if you compare it to a hosting company like Scalahosting, you will be looking at degraded performance overall. However, it is still a consideration to look at. That is going to do it for today's video though. All of those will be linked in the description if you want to check out my recommended hosting companies. That is going to do it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.